more efficient at the same time as lowering the cost. And what we probably miss here is saying that all this has to be wrapped up around the whole customer continuum. It says all of these things are there for a reason. All these things are there to adjust your P&L and to grow your business. So somebody who partners with you has to be part of the process of increasing your revenue, of reducing your costs, of making you much more efficient, of taking advantage of all of the available tools. And somebody who's worked with the best of breed in your industry and knows what software tools are out there that you can deploy, because we're and should be agnostic to the technologies. We use the best available to bring into the process. I've got the arrows, you need the arrows, which goes to the point of saying those are the areas converting capital to expenses, where we are taking out groups of people from an organization, moving them across onto our books, reducing the requirement to have buildings and facilities, giving access to technology, bringing in processes and standardizing them, and then as one of the more lower costs is lower labor costs. But the interesting thing is that now you see in Spain where arbitrage in wage rates is quite difficult to get, because Spain is often considered quite a cheap place, but we all know it's not so cheap anymore. That labor cost is not a driver for their business. They recognize the need to enhance their business by bringing in people who are absolute specialists in an area that's in their non-core, and people who have had plenty of experience in similar businesses, peer companies. And as an offshoot of working with somebody, then they can say, well, we can actually handle these calls, Spanish calls, in Spanish, inside your domain of, perhaps it's in the Canary Islands, or if we wish, we might want to go even further ashore to somewhere like Colombia or Nicaragua and get Spanish at a much cheaper rate. So you're able to enhance the experience by moving, but cost should be probably the last thing that you want. And one thing that's quite interesting about how we operate in reality is we've got a thing called the value valley, which says where we're using the shifting sun of the world, we are running service in the US or the UK daytime, which is the nighttime in the Philippines. Not so much in India, but it depends on where you are on the globe. But that when you have somebody running a 15-hour contact center, you have extra hours in the day, 9 extra hours where you can put your back office functions, which are not time dependent. So if you're doing back recs, if you're doing accounts payable, there's a lot of tasks that can be used, and put that person in the seat of the person who's sitting there handling the calls. And that the cost of that service should be about 25% cheaper. So you can see that you get an additional value by using 24/7 and using the shifting sands of the labor markets around the world, who are all the time getting more and more clever and able to handle these process on a SLA environment, so a committed, guaranteed level of performance. So these days, if you can't increase your customer service and decrease your cost, I mean, you're not getting what you should be getting.